everyone, and today we are going to discuss about three methods of teaching English. And I think the first method is communicative language learning method. Yes, I think in this kind of method, students will feel less stressful, and they can say what they want to say in a small group. But I think the disadvantage is that they voice their opinion in in their native language, so that they cannot directly practice the language too.
Yeah, they use language one as a crutch too often, and then the only exposure to language too is when their teacher translates a sentence they might have said into the target language, right?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about total physical response. It encourages students to do some physical response to teachers, like teachers. Yes, like teachers ask students to, okay, go open the door, jump out of the window, and something like this. And students do not always need to say something, respond to teacher. They need to take actions to respond to teachers.
Yeah, actually, I was taught in the physical response method, and I was taught Spanish this way. So yeah, I had a good grasp on Spanish, so it's like I could understand like almost 80% of what the teacher said, just because even though I couldn't understand some of the tenses, but then I could grasp on what the teacher wanted me to do. So even if he conducted the whole class in Spanish, I could still follow, more or less.
And I think the total physical response needs practice. Because at first time children are small, they may not understand what it means. So you have to give instructions like, this is door, please open it. Just show them how to do this.
Or you mean the teacher needs to demonstrate first, like she say, open the door, and she walks the door and open it, so that kids will understand.
Yeah, actually, in my personal experience, the teacher gives hints, not exactly like instructions. This is the door. This is my hand. Open. This is how you open the door. It's actually the teacher hints at the door, maybe using his eyes and then his whole body language
And gesture.
Yeah, and then because with parents and child, they use body language as much as they use language. I guess this is what the physical response is about. But how is it different from the natural approach?
I think natural approach at first it's focused on listening comprehension skills, and the students also they don't need to respond first, and I think there are questions because there is a silent period.
But I think the natural approach focuses mainly on silent.
What do you mean by silent period?
It's that they don't need to respond
To teachers?
It only says it's delay of oral production.
So it doesn't emphasize on your students' oral skills. It just lets them listen and listen and listen.
I think it emphasizes on comprehension. This method, I think teacher won't ask you to respond immediately, but our teacher wants students to understand the meaning of sentence.
The first is the first stage, and the second one is that I think in the second stage the student try to say something, and
there might be errors.
Yeah, but they focus on the meaning. They only need to know it. But if the error is not that serious, the teacher won't correct it.
So the production method.
Yeah. And the third, the last stage is focus on the fluency of
the language. But then this method, although it's natural, really that natural, but then one problem, you have to to use this method for an extended period. It's not exactly immediate effect. You can't. There's not an immediate effect. So I guess so it's different from the physical response in that this takes much more time than the physical response.
I think these 3 ways only take time compared to
the previous ones. But community language, if you want to learn anything about the second language, I guess you really need time, because if you use language 1 to communicate to each other, you can't exactly learn a lot about the second language with your first language.
So to sum up, I think these methods we discussed today are more relaxing, and people can have the ability to communicate with foreigners. Thank you very much.